Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show. Okay, it's Colonel Steve. Key West continues, and we check in with show number 529. It almost needs no introduction at this point. It's probably the number 1 rated show that we've ever done, the one where the rails really fell off for the first time ever, and here it is, the infamous, the famous, the big time, show number 529.
Let's drink!
The Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon, delivered to you Monday through Friday every week. Today on the show, we are doing a bracket challenge to determine the person the most deserving of the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame that has not yet been enshrined. My name is McNeil. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, and Miss Becca Sue, and our special guest, Josh Ummel, Andrew Webrink, and Jason Brommer.
Hey, gang, what's up? Jason Brommer, Josh Ummel.
Super excited, Jason.
Hey,
I've been called worse.
yeah, I agree. There could be worse. She did there, so yeah.
It wasn't in the script. I couldn't read it.
we did. There's folks. I gotta tell. There's a whole show between shows. There's a whole thing that went on. We ended up. We're talking about Jason Brommer. We were just like, I wonder if we could call him. Could we pull him into this? And sure, he was available, and he answered the phone. Unfortunately for him, so Jason's joining us. So Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you? It sounds like you guys are well on your way.
Yes, it's been a crazy night of drinking. Yes. We had Miss Becca Sue pass out on a show and was out for a while. Josh has a photo of that if anybody doesn't believe that. So yeah.
Drifted in and out of consciousness over there.
Yes. So yeah, we've definitely had a whole thing going on here, but we're glad you joined us. This will work out good too. You're a knowledgeable person. You bring some knowledge and some sobriety to the show for us, so that's good.
Lame.
Yeah.
My BAC still up a little bit from last night, as you saw some of the pictures.
Oh yeah, gosh, that was good. So you were the Incredible Hulk, and I saw that, and I just started laughing when I saw that photo. It was so good.
Yeah, it was a big time. We had a good one.
Yeah, that was.
Jason, no one has drank since last night.
We all have.
None of us drank.
We refused to allow her to drink on the last show because she had already had enough, but then she decided to violate our orders and drink anyway. We couldn't stop her. We're just on Skype.
I don't know.
Some of us voted for it, probably.
Yeah.
All of us are sober.
Yeah. So, Jason, what are you doing tonight? Are you at the restaurant? Are you at home? Where are you at right now?
I'm actually at home, just hanging out.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Exciting call here. Yeah.
Hanging out. Big weekend and big week coming up. We've got the Breeders' Cup this week, which is going to be huge. So I'll be doing a lot of drinking and a lot of entertaining.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's do a little drinking now, because on this show, like every other one in the network, we do drink. What is everyone drinking tonight? Jason, are you in a position here where you can grab a drink with us?
I can.
Right.
Let me get into the liquor cabinet.
Okay.
I'm going to sit you down here and put you on speakerphone. Hold on just a second. All right, we've got the My Single Barrel Knob Creek 120.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, that was solid. It was good, but I feel like it could be beat. So, McNew, we'll go with you next. What are you drinking there?
So I have this bullet barrel proof.
Okay.
Y'all know that this was full when I opened it.
It
today.
was full, yeah. So just a couple hours ago when we started here, you had a full bottle. Now you're halfway done on a barrel straight.
The shit show, right?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That made no noise, really. So I'll go next. I've got Wilderness Trail Bourbon. So this one's about 3/4 full. I'm hoping for maybe a good cork pop here, though I opened it just earlier this week. So let's see if I got anything left of this one. Yeah.
Ooh.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I think it's good enough to take the lead, but it can be beat. I feel like it could be beat. So, Josh, you got anything cool there? What are you going to bring up?
I'm going to go with a Boone County 12-year store pick.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well, not as good as
Not
mine.
bad.
That was deep, but not as like mine. All right, Andrew Webrink, what do you got there, man?
We've got Jefferson's Reserve Twin Oak Custom Barrel.
Oh, I like that one. Okay, let's hear what you got. Oh. What do you think there, Jason? Who won this one?
I don't know. I think Steve's on that one.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you got it.
I'll concur with that.
Yeah.
Stud.
Yeah.
He
Excellent.
won.
All right. Well, cheers, gang.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. What we're going to do next, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to do a bracket challenge to determine the person most deserving to go in the Hall of Fame that is not yet in there. So we're talking the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. We'll get to that when we come back. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
Hey, it's Wes from the Bourbon Zeppelin podcast, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily with Steve and McNew.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we are doing the most deserving person not yet in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame.
Yes, we are. So here's the list that I've got here. I mean, I don't know that you guys know everybody that's in there. I mean, that'd be a tough, thing to ask. But this is what I came up with in terms of the list. It's something that you could argue. You could say, hey, I think this person's more deserving. That's kind of the fun of doing a show like this. But here's the 8 people that I came up with. So Harlan Wheatley, obviously the master distiller for Buffalo Trace. Julian Van Winkle III. These are all people that are not in there yet, by the way. Fred Minnick. Ken Pierce, the old master distiller for 1792, now since retired. Catherine Carpenter. Denny Potter. Jim Kokoris, obviously the author who wrote the biographies for Fred No and Booker No, as well as, he's the guy who coordinated the small batch tour when they rolled that out. And then Henry Crogey, or maybe Crogey, maybe it's Crogey, Crowgey. I wasn't that familiar with him. Jason, you may know that guy. You've been, kind of more in the bourbon game longer than I have. And he's a guy who Mike Veach says is the greatest bourbon author of all time. Last time we did a challenge like this, I didn't include Henry in there. Mike Veach called me out on that. And I thought, well, if Mike Veach says this guy needs to be, we need to take a look at, I felt like I should. He wrote a book called, Kentucky Bourbon. And Mike says that's the starting point. If you're going to get into bourbon, that's the book to start with. Are you familiar with Henry by chance, Jason?
I think I am, but I thought I've read that book, but the name doesn't really sound that familiar to me, even though the book does, his name doesn't.
Yeah, it's called Kentucky Bourbons, the Early Years of Whiskey Making. And Mike says, and of course you took Mike's class. When you were just starting your restaurant, you took a class at a college, one of those courses from Mike. Right. And I bet you he brought it up in there, if nothing else. At a very minimum, I'm sure he talked about it in there. So, yeah. So I don't know. I need to get that book. I haven't bought it yet. I keep saying I'm going to. Next time I make an Amazon order, I'm going to throw it in the cart and get it. I do see it's still in print. You can get it, a soft paperback version. So I'm going to grab that and check it out because Mike says it's worth it. And I looked it up. He's not in the Hall of Fame, so I thought, we'll throw him in there. So that's our 8. And here are the matchups as follows. So Jim Kokoris is going to be taking on Fred Minnick. Harlan Wheatley versus Ken Pierce. Interesting one. One's a former Sazerac master distiller. The other one's a current Sazerac. Then we've got Henry Crogey versus Catherine Carpenter, the person, responsible for she did both sour and sweet mash. So the first person to talk about the sweet mash process. And then Denny Potter versus Julian Van Winkle III. All right. So first up, Weebrink, you're going to, Josh, you're going to lead it off in round number 1. It's going to be Jim Kokoris versus Fred Minnick. So we've got 2 authors going against each other here. Who do you think out of those 2 is the most deserving to go in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame at this point?
Man, that's tough, but I'm going to go with Fred.
Fred Minnick goes up 1 zip. Weebrink, how about you, man?
Oh, man, let me go with Fred.
Fred. That means Fred goes up 2-0. Miss Becca Sue, I assume you're out for this. We'll go on without her. Okay. That means Jason.
She's awake. She's good. She's good.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim Kokoris.
Clearly.
Versus Fred Minnick.
Let's go with Fred.
Okay. That means Fred moves on. I hate that. Jim is affiliated with the network at this point, but he did not win this. So, yes.
Also, if she weren't awake, I would have went with Fred, too.
Oh, darn it. Okay.
Thank you, McNew.
All right.
You're welcome.
Round number 2.
Get me again.
Round number 2, Weebrink, you're going to be starting it off. So, Weebrink, you're going to be up first. It's Harlan Wheatley versus Ken Pierce. 2 master distillers. Who do you think out of those? Ken Pierce. Okay. 1792 guy. He's done a lot for the industry. Certainly worthy. Miss Becca Sue? Ken Pierce or Harlan Wheatley? Buffalo Trace or 1792?
Ken Pierce?
Yeah.
So it's Ken Pierce or who?
Or Harlan Wheatley of Buffalo Trace.
I'll go Ken.
Ken Pierce goes up 2-0. McNew, you're next.
I'm going to go with Harlan. He's doing some vodka shit. I fucking hate vodka, but I will drink some fucking Tito's. Go Harlan.
Okay, so you give Harlan a vote. That means, Jason, it goes on to you next. Harlan Wheatley down 2-1 to Ken Pierce. Who do you like here?
Yep. I think we're going to have to go with Ken.
All right. That means
on this one, Steve.
Man.
Ken moves on. All right. I agree with that one. Harlan, I think, will get there eventually, but he's a younger guy compared to Ken Pierce, who, had a great career. And I think Ken goes in before Harlan myself. So I think that's a solid pick. All right. The next one is Henry Croge versus Catherine Carpenter. All right. Round number 3 is going to be Miss Becca Sue. You're first. Henry Croge, the author, versus Catherine Carpenter, kind of a pioneer in bourbon. She developed what is at least the first documented sweet mash process. It's often, credit's often given to Dr. James Crowe, but he was after Catherine Carpenter, actually.
Catherine.
Catherine Carpenter goes up 1-0. What do you think, McNew?
Also, Catherine, all women in bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Women in bourbon.
All right, Jason, how about you? Henry Croge versus Catherine Carpenter. Catherine Carpenter's up 2-0. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Catherine.
That means Catherine Carpenter moves on. All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. No, not even challenged. All right. Next up is Julian Van Winkle III versus Denny Potter. Round number 4. McNew, you're up first.
This is a fucking shit show of a choice.
Yeah, because I know you love Denny Potter for the work that he did at Heaven Hill specifically. Obviously, you were a big fan of Larceny. That was a product he was involved with from its inception. So,
Man, I'm going to go with Denny.
Denny Potter over Julian Van Winkle III. All right, round number 4. Next up is our friend Jason here. Jason, what do you think? Denny Potter or Julian Van Winkle III?
I think I'm going to have to go with Denny.
Okay, that means Denny goes up 2-0. All right, Josh, what do you think? Denny Potter versus Julian Van Winkle III.
Man, you know what? I love everything that's going on at Heaven Hill, but I'm going to go with Julian Van Winkle just because of the hype.
Okay. Julian Van Winkle has a vote, and he has life in this game. He's down 2-1. He is still on the brink of extermination here, but he has life, a chip in a chair, as they say. So, Weebrink, what do you think? Denny Potter, Julian Van Winkle III.
I like Denny. Everything he did at Heaven Hill is awesome. He's now at Maker's Mark, so I think I'm going to give him a little bit of a chance to see what he comes out with over there. I think putting him in now might cut him off a little short, so we're going to go ahead and go with Julian Van Winkle.
Julian Van Winkle III comes roaring back. He's tied it back up 2-2, so it's going to go to our tiebreaker here. Round number 4, it is Miss Becca Sue. Denny Potter or Julian Van Winkle III? Should be noted, I think she's passed out. So in that case, it goes to me as the backup. She is out. So in that example, when that happens, it goes to me as the backup. That's what we have. We have a 6th person. We could see her on the camera. We just see her hair, actually. She's off camera mostly, but we do see that she is in a sleeping position. So I'm going to say Julian Van Winkle III moves on as a pinch hit there. So that our final 4 is going to be Fred Minnick versus Ken Pierce. Catherine Carpenter versus Julian Van Winkle III is our final 4. If Miss Becca Sue comes back, if she regains consciousness, she's back in the game. If not, I remain active.
No.
Right. Round number 5 is actually going to start with Miss Becca Sue. Actually, this one starts with Jason. Jason, you're up first. Round number 5, Fred Minnick versus Ken Pierce.
Ooh.
Most deserving to go
I'm
to
going to have to go with
Kentucky.
Ken.
That means Ken goes up 1-0. Josh, what are you thinking out of those two?
Man, I'm a fan of Fred, what Fred is doing, so I'm going to go with Fred.
Fred has tied it back up 1-1. So we're going to go best 2 out of 3 at this point. So round number 5, Weebrink, you're next. What do you think?
And the choices were Fred Minnick and
Ken Pierce.
Got to go with Ken Pierce.
All right, that means Ken Pierce goes back up 2-1. Miss Becca Sue, what are you thinking? Okay. Wait, there's some movement there. No, not enough though. It was a shift. It was just a shift. So she's still
I
up.
need her to pick Fred Minnick.
Okay.
Becca Sue.
No, she's out. So it's a knockout. So I'm staying definitely Ken Pierce. Ken Pierce did a lot of great things at 1792.
No, fuck you guys. I'm taking her choice to leave Fred Minnick.
That's not how it works. Well, then I get your choice. You can have Miss Becca Sue, then I get hers. I still pick Ken Pierce. So Ken Pierce moves on. It's all because Miss Becca Sue passed out.
Hey, that's not fair.
That's not yet. I want Fred Minnick.
Do their vote.
It's a done deal. It's already a done deal. Let's say this just for fun. It's a done deal. I'm sorry, we've locked it in. I wrote it down and it's in ink. Who would you have said though, Miss Becca Sue? I think she just passed out again. Fred Minnick versus Ken Pierce.
She would have picked Fred Minnick though.
Like,
Fred Minnick or Ken Pierce? Who would you have taken there?
who's it? Fred who?
Fred Minnick,
Fred Minnick.
the author, versus Ken Pierce, 1792's master
Fred.
distiller.
Fred.
I'm going Fred.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's too bad, though. It's
That's
unfortunate.
it.
She was passed out. She missed her time. So it's like if you miss a bus at a bus stop,
No,
yeah.
Fred
The bus doesn't
Minnick.
come back and
Fred-
pick you up.
Fred
It's already gone.
Minnick.
TKO.
Yeah. Round number 6.
I'm sorry I passed out drunk.
Yeah. Round number 6.
Oh, sorry.
Weebrink, you're going to start out. Catherine Carpenter, again, inventor of sweet mash, but also had a sour mash recipe as well, versus Julian Van Winkle III. Round number 6. Weebrink, you're up first.
Oh, let's go with Van Winkle.
Julian Van Winkle goes up 1-0. Miss Becca Sue, what are you thinking? Catherine Carpenter or Julian Van Winkle III?
For what?
Just vote. Just pick a name. You don't fucking care.
Roxy.
Do you need me to fill in for you? Do you need to tap out?
I just need to know what the options are.
Catherine Carpenter, who invented the sweet mash process before, she invented sour
So
mash. Sweet mash was
Catherine
what they
or
always
what?
used before that. So she invented.
Catherine with the fucking inventing stuff or what?
Okay, yeah, she invented sour mash. But versus Julian Van Winkle III, the Pappy Van Winkle guy.
Or Winkle with what? Why am I choosing either one?
Well, it's a show. We're doing a show. I think.
I was asleep for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to, even though Miss Becca
No,
Sue,
you can't just.
she's not
no,
coherent.
You can't ban me. Why were those two people? I wanted to.
She's here, but she's
Well,
not. Okay.
Yes, I am. I just want to know what these two people
Catherine
were.
Carpenter versus Julian Van Winkle III. Which of those two do you think deserves to go in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame?
Oh, Winkle.
Winkle.
Periwinkle, what?
All right, Winkle. That means Winkle is going to go up 2-0. McNew, what do you think? Catherine Carpenter or Winkle?
I go with Julian Van Winkle III.
All right.
I was only.
That means Julian Van Winkle III does move on in what could be a controversial move. I mean, he may take us.
Controversy.
The family of Catherine Carpenter may take us to court and say she wasn't coherent. She wasn't of sound mind to make that decision. So
I was.
No, but it's in my hands, and I am.
I was
Okay.
sound of.
round number 7. This is it. Here's our finals. Ken Pierce, of course, the historic master distiller of 1792, versus Julian Van Winkle III. Wow, this is a heck of a matchup here. What do you think about that, Miss Becca Sue? Ken Pierce versus Julian Van Winkle
It's going to
III.
be such a match.
Okay. She's just laughing. I don't. Do you have a pick out of those two, or do you like me to fill in for you?
If
What the heck's going on with McNew? Something's
it would
itchy
be
there.
unacceptable because I want it to be fair.
What?
I want it to be fair.
I'm going to have to start a countdown. I'm going to start 3, 2, 1, and if you can't become coherent by 1, then I'm going to have to fill in for you. Ken Pierce or Julian Van Winkle III? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Do you have an answer?
1!
Okay.
Yes.
What's your answer?
Wait, mine?
All right. I'm sorry we're going to have to move on without Miss Becca Sue.
I thought.
Ken
thought we were
Pierce
going
versus
to-
Julian Van Winkle III. I don't know, man.
I
to
thought
me,
it was to be fair.
to me, boy, Ken Pierce, he deserves. It's a shame he's not in there already. But it's also a shame Julian Van Winkle's not in there. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a name that's known by everyone. I'm gonna toss my
Yeah.
vote to him. I'm glad I don't have to break a tire or anything
Yeah.
like that because it's not easy here. But I'm saying Julian Van Winkle III. What do you think, McNeil?
Mr. Van Winkle III.
All right, that means Julian Van Winkle III goes up 2-0. Jason, you could end this right here, right now, or you can give life to Mr. Ken Pierce. What do you think?
So let's go for Ken. Let's bring it in.
All right.
Give him some life.
All right, he's got life. Josh, what are you thinking?
Give him life.
Ken Pierce is down 2-1. What do you think?
This is probably the worst tiebreaker I ever thought I'd have to do. Man. I'm going to go with Julian Van Winkle.
That means Julian Van Winkle III is our person we've deemed most deserving to go into the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame.
Josh.
Yeah, way to go.
Woo.
Woo! So yeah, I think everybody on this list ultimately does deserve it. There's not a person on there that's not deserving. So it's cool how it ended up, and congratulations to Julian Van Winkle and the team over there at the Old Rip Van Winkle Distillery, which really doesn't distill anything, but that's the name of their company. That's the name of their company. I'm not kidding. All right, well that wraps it up. Let's talk about where we can find everyone. Josh, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Barrel and Brew without the S on the end because that's somebody else.
Okay. Weebrink, how about you?
Find me on Instagram at Andrew in Kentucky.
All right, Jason.
Instagram, Bourbon Redneck.
All right. That's a good account, too. I enjoy that one. All right.
Great account.
Miss Becca Sue can be found on Instagram or Twitter at Miss Becca Sue.
Hey, let me tell them where they can find me.
1K no
I can let them know. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Becca Sue. 1K, 2 C's.
No, just
No
one.
C's.
No C's. Not 2 C's.
No
No C's.
C's.
No C's at all there.
1K, 2 C's.
BEKA,
Wait, no,
Miss Becca Sue.
No,
1K no C's.
1K, no C's. Miss Becca Sue.
1K,
Okay.
no C's.
All right. Yeah,
Was there a brunch at the country club today?
What is asking people?
Okay. McNew, how about you? Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram as Miss_McNeil.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Check out my website, steveakeley.com. While you're online, be sure to head over to abvnetwork.com because everything that we do is out there. You can listen to shows. You can check out Bourbon Zeppelin, as well as our blogs and so much more, abvnetwork.com. Miss McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review, including comments. It really helps us in marketing the show, and your feedback really helps in the show direction.
All right, gang. What we're going to do next is we're going to go to bed, we're going to sober up, and we'll have a brand new show for you guys tomorrow.
Work tomorrow. Yep.
Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See you.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you're in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.